Sawadee-krap. Hello and welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. In this mini-series, I'm helping you to understand the Eightfold Path. In this video, we're going to be moving into the mental discipline section of the Eightfold Path. This video is all about right effort. And once you understand right effort and all the other steps of the Eightfold Path, you'll be able to make your journey towards enlightenment. Welcome. Pleased that you're here. The Eightfold Path is comprised of three categories: wisdom, moral conduct, and mental discipline. So far, we've been discussing the wisdom and moral conduct section of the Eightfold Path. But now, with right effort, we're moving into the mental discipline section of the Eightfold Path. So let's investigate the words of the Buddha related to right effort. In what, monks, is right effort? Here, monks, a monk rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind, and strives to prevent the arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome mental states. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind, and strives to overcome evil, unwholesome mental states that have arisen. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind, and strives to produce unarisen, wholesome mental states. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind, and strives to maintain wholesome mental states that have arisen, not to let them fade away, to bring them to greater growth, to the full perfection of development. This is called right effort. Once you understand right effort in detail and master all the steps of mental discipline, then you'll be able to slowly diminish the discontentedness in the mind. It's all the steps on the Eightfold Path that move the mind to enlightenment. You would need to learn, reflect, and practice each individual step. But here with right effort, you're getting some detailed guidance from the Buddha of how to eliminate unwholesome qualities from the mind and how to arise wholesome qualities by taking the effort to do that. So let's look at this in detail and ensure we investigate all four aspects of right effort. The first aspect of right effort is the following: prevent unwholesome mental states that have not arisen from arising in the mind. Here, the Buddha is explaining to you that any unwholesome mental states that are not yet in the mind, to prevent them from ever arising in the mind. A perfect example of this is that you probably have no interest in killing another human being. And what the Buddha is explaining here is take the effort to ensure that you prevent that from ever arising in the mind. Because if that were to arise in the mind and you actually acted upon it, it would be a very unwise decision that's going to lead to unwholesome results. So take the effort to prevent that unwholesome quality and all the other unwholesome qualities that are not yet in the mind, prevent them from ever coming into the mind. The second aspect of right effort is the following: abandon unwholesome mental states that have arisen in the mind. Here, this is any unwholesome qualities that are currently in the mind. The Buddha is explaining, take the effort to eliminate those from the mind. A perfect example of that would be, if you're in a current relationship and you have a craving for sexual contact outside of your existing relationship, this would be an unwise decision to allow the mind to act upon that. So when you observe that unwholesome quality arising in the mind, cut that off, let it go. Apply right effort to eliminate that unwholesome mental state from the mind, because you know it's going to lead to unwholesome results if you allow it to continue to persist in the mind. If you were to follow that through, you could get sexually transmitted diseases, you could get beat up, you could get murdered. People have actually been murdered over these kind of things. So you would like to ensure that you only have one relationship at a time. So where you observe that this unwholesome quality might arise in the mind, cut that off, let it go. Apply the right effort to abandon that unwholesome quality. Another example, if you have anger or frustration, ill will, some kind of irritation, annoyance that arises in the mind, this is an unwholesome quality of mind. This is an unwholesome mental state. Apply the right effort to abandon that, eliminate it from the mind. And there's other aspects of the path to enlightenment that are going to help you learn how to do that. It's the entire path coming together that will help you understand how to do this. The third aspect of right effort is the following. Produce unarisen, wholesome mental states to arise in the mind. Here, the Buddha is explaining any wholesome qualities that are not yet in the mind, to apply the effort to arise them into the mind. Some examples might be, as you learn on this path, you'll see that generosity is an important quality of mind to cultivate. It helps to eliminate selfishness. An enlightened being is not going to be selfish, holding on to things very tightly, wanting to be rewarded for every single thing that they do. Instead, they're going to practice generosity, the giving and the sharing of more than that is strictly required in any situation. So when you understand that, and you might observe that your mind is selfish, then you apply the effort to arise generosity, to give and share your time, effort, energy, and resources more than is strictly required. Another example, if you know that you're not a very compassionate person, but yet you learn as part of this path that compassion is a wholesome quality of mind, having the concern for the misfortune of others, where you know that your mind is indifferent about other people's misery and grief and problems that they encounter, then you arise this compassion, this concern for their misfortune. Because you know your mind doesn't currently have that wholesome quality, then you apply the effort to arise that in the mind. The fourth aspect of right effort is the following. Maintain wholesome mental states that have arisen, not allowing them to fade away, and work to increase their growth in the mind. Here, this is any wholesome qualities that are currently in the mind, then you work to support those, encourage them, don't allow them to fade. Some examples might be, if you know that you're a very loving and kind individual, where you have loving kindness for others, having this genuine interest in seeing others be well, then what the Buddha is saying is apply the effort to support that, encourage that. Don't allow it to fade. Bring it to full growth and perfection in the mind. Fully develop it in the mind. Another example, if you practice sympathetic joy, which is having the joy for others' success, even if you didn't contribute to it. This is the opposite of jealousy or envy. If you have that currently in the mind, you know that's a wholesome quality to have joy for others' success. So where you see that, then support that, encourage that, don't allow it to fade. Bring it to full growth and perfection in the mind. This would be the fourth aspect of right effort. With all four aspects of right effort, you are preventing unwholesome qualities from arising in the mind. You are eliminating unwholesome qualities that have arisen in the mind. You're arising wholesome qualities that are not yet in the mind, and you're supporting and growing, encouraging any wholesome qualities that are currently in the mind to come to full growth and perfection. One of the ways to think about this is to kick out the unwholesome stuff and bring in the wholesome stuff. This is going to allow the mind to now move to being more and more wholesome and positive. Where you see negative thoughts penetrating into the mind or starting to arise in the mind, take the effort to cut those off and let them go. Where you see that the mind has wholesome qualities, or there are certain wholesome qualities that you need to produce in the mind, take the effort to support those, encourage those, and bring those into the mind. This would be a practice of right effort. In the next video, we're going to be discussing right mindfulness. Here, you're going to understand how right effort and right mindfulness goes together. I'll see you in that video. Have a lovely rest of your day. Sawadee ka.